Everybody, Brian here with ProFig. This is going to be episode number 2, and it's going to be a how to graft video for figs. So one of my favorite ways to propagate figs is grafting, and grafting is really easy with figs, much higher success rate than rooting, and especially in the fall. Well, we're almost to fall. This is a great time to graft because the trees are finishing fruiting, and they go into like a dormant state where they stall for a while, and it's a good time to take some terminal bud cuttings, some of the tips like this, because they're going to go ahead and put out another flush of growth here as the fall and weather cools down. So perfect time to take some cuttings to do some grafting. So today's grafting video is going to be on the cleft graft. Some people call it the wedge graft. The cleft graft is what I use, is what it's mostly called. And what I like about it is it's very, very easy. And it seems to be my highest take percentage on grafts. I really believe you should be like 80 to 80, at least 80% successful on grafts, especially as you get better and better. But in the beginning, you're going to have some that fail. But just a few key points on grafting is you need a good knife, and you need to practice. So I would recommend growing out some rootstock and practicing with regular inexpensive cuttings or cuttings that you find in the wild. So let's get ready. Let's go. So we're gonna start with our tools. This is everything that we need. Okay. So number one, obviously, is the rootstock. So this is rooted really well. It's a year and a half old in here. It needs to be up potted. So it's a perfect candidate. So I cut the tip off just a little bit ago, probably about an hour ago. And then I took my knife and I put some slits down in here. And what that does is allows the sap to flow out. Because if the sap keeps pouring out and you do your graft, it's going to flood the graft and it's not going to take. It's going to be a big mess. So it's very important that you cut little slits underneath your cut. Okay, and you'll see the sap come out. Some say, you should give it 24 hours. Usually I just give it about an hour and it's about finished. You'll know whenever you cut into the top here if there's more coming out, but usually after an hour it's pretty much done. So there is still some sap flow this time of the year because the trees are still actively growing, and so it's very important to do that to alleviate that pressure of the sap. So we got our rootstock. This is Sitsalis. I use a lot of it because it grows like mad. Okay, so some of the benefits of grafting is that you could graft some of these harder to graft or root varieties onto very vigorous rootstocks, and they grow like crazy. So I really feel like grafting is the best method for the tricky ones. So just keep trying, you'll get the hang of it. So here's our rootstock, you can see. Okay, so here's the scion or cutting. This is Zafiro. Zafiro is notorious for being pretty difficult to root. I do have some rooting right now that are doing really well, so I think timing may be the issue on Zafiro, but you still see it's lignified. It's got a little bit of green mixed in, but that's normal on this variety. It just tends to do that. It gets this spotting on it. Okay, and I left a lot of wood here to work with for our graft. Okay, so there's our cutting. We're going to need our knife. Okay, so I got this from a friend in Georgia, and I've been using it for, I don't know, maybe 3 years now. Hasn't needed to be sharpened. And I believe it's a carbon steel blade. So most of the grafting knives work well. So I wouldn't be too concerned if you're just beginning that you need top of the line grafting knife. Just a decent one. I know Daniel Figbit had some on there, and you don't need a top of the line one to start. Okay. So then we're gonna need our parafilm, our stretchy tape. Okay. So we'll need that. You could get this also on FigBid. So that's very important. And then our grafting bands. This is a really heavy duty one, which I like because some of the thinner ones, they tend to break too early. So I like these thicker bands. I think I got these on FigBid as well. And they will last a few years. So there's pros and cons to that too. So you got to make sure that you eventually cut it off or you'll girdle the whole thing. So, but this is what will hold that graft in place really well for a long time. Okay, this right here is just a wood stake, and I'll show you what this is for. It's basically for whittling the cutting. Okay, any piece of wood will do. Obviously our pruning shears, our paint pen, our sharpie here. So we need to always make sure that we label the cuttings so we don't lose them. This is a Furo. Okay, so I'm just gonna write it in there. And then you definitely want to have some type of glove for your left hand, or you're gonna cut your finger off like I almost did like 2 years ago. So this is pretty tore up because I pick figs and move bushes and move branches and everything with this. So a good pair of leather gloves is really important. So let's get started. Okay, step one, we're gonna wrap this thing up right here, okay? So we need to get the parafilm on here. You need to make sure that there's no moisture or condensation on the cutting itself. So we're just gonna wrap it. I'm gonna start it right at the bottom bud here, okay? We're just gonna go ahead and stretch and pull, okay, just like that. That's how it's gonna look, like that. Okay, so let's see. So one of the nice things with the cleft graft is that you can match it up pretty good here. Looks pretty good actually. So if the rootstock is too small, we'll go over that another day, but this is going to be a case where it's pretty darn close. So your goal is to find on the rootstock the same diameter as the cutting. Okay, so it looks like I'm pretty close here. It might be my sign might be a hair bit bigger, but it might be okay. I like to leave a lot of wood right here because the more you can get down wedge in here, the stronger the graft's going to be. So I think that's really important. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we got to wedge these together. I'm telling you, this is not rocket science here. Figs are really easy. Okay. All right, so let's make our first cut. So I'm envisioning this being about 1.5 inches. I'm gonna cut this down pretty good on the rootstock, just because I want it to be as strong as possible. Okay, so I'm just kind of measuring it up here. Usually we're just gonna take our cutters and I'm gonna go straight down. Okay, and it's very important. You just kind of whenever you cut the rootstock, I'm not putting much pressure at all. I'm just kind of wiggling it down, light pressure, just kind of wiggling it. See, if I didn't have a glove, my finger would be a mess. Okay, I'm still wiggling it down. Still going. Okay. Okay, you hear a little bit of cracking in there. That's probably good. Okay, so that's what you're going to be left with right there. Okay, so the whole goal is to line up the cambium layer. So the cambium layer is in there, and it's got another layer on it, which is green. So you want to line up the green to the green, basically. And it's on the outside edges. So let's go ahead and whittle this down. So basically, we need to get this to wedge in there. So we're just going to take this right here. I just like to lay it flat. We're just going to go nice even strokes down. and I flip it over. Okay. Also, this is not a lot of pressure. Just take your time. You don't need to get this done really fast, okay? Because you want it to be nice and just like slow tapering. And we're almost there. Okay, and so you'll also notice that like the pith, which is the white stuff inside in the middle, it will crackle a little bit this time of the year. It's just not as there's not as much nutrients and moisture in here. So you'll notice that even if the pith is falling out, as long as you have the outside, the green cambium layer, you can see it. It's hard to see here up close, but as long as you have that, you're going to be good. Okay, you can see a little bit there on the end. You can even kind of scratch it up just a little bit here. Just kind of get it going. Okay, so next we're going to just kind of match it up and see where we're at. Okay, so this is we're going to get it down in there like that. So you really just need to have one side lined up. That's pretty much the goal, is just one. I'm going to whittle this down just a little bit more. So let's go and put it right there. Okay, so see, it just kind of fits right in like that. You're just wedging it in there. As long as you have one side matching up, that's all you need. Looks pretty good. Okay, so now, yeah, looks good. You kind of see it, looks like it seals up good. I'm gonna take our band, okay? So this part takes a little bit of practice, just wrapping it. So you just kind of start, and we don't need to put a whole lot of pressure on here, okay? Not yet. Okay, so we're just wrapping it around, wrapping it around. Now I'm gonna put a little, now I'm gonna put a little bit more pressure. Okay, more pressure. More pressure, it's nice and firm now. And we're gonna take it, comes back through like that. Okay, pull it tight, and that's what it's gonna look like right there. Okay, and this isn't going anywhere. This is very, very firm. We're gonna take our grafting tape now. And we're just gonna seal this up so where no moisture gets in. Okay, just like that. So I'd imagine within about 2 weeks, I'm going to know if this takes or not. You'll start seeing the buds breaking through. I'd say it's at least 80% chance it's going to take. But it looks really good, and it's going to make a nice single leader here on the top. And you know, if any of these little buds down below start to pop out, I just rub them off as the tree as we wait to see it bud. But yeah, so cleft graft, really easy. I mean, you only need a few basic tools, and it just takes practice. So I think anybody could do it, and it's just another tool to add to your arsenal, especially if when you buy those expensive cuttings, and you can cut the, you know, 1.5 or the bottom half off and graft it just to make sure that you get that variety. So it's something that a lot of us do because rooting is not easy. I mean, compared to grafting. But anyway, so this is a cleft graft. I'll probably end up raffling this variety off if it takes, probably in about a month. And leave any comments down below. I'll answer them. Be sure to subscribe to our page. And the next video, it's probably going to be a surprise. So thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye now.